After making that tier list video, I've never gotten that many views before. I was just gonna leave it there, but I also saw something else. In the last video, I rated the SKS B tier, which a few of you didn't like. I also got a few things wrong with the SKS being a rifle, not a sniper rifle. So I'm gonna challenge myself to use the SKS much more than I'd usually like to. I'll be using the Atlin kit at all times during the run. Atlin? Altin? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I did try using lighter kits like the Zish or the Tors. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But I decided that since everyone else is using the Altin, Atlin, it's also fair that I use the same kits. I also just died faster, so there you go. So I'm going to be sticking to the meta armor. This one's obvious, but I'll also be using armor piercing ammo all the time because Tracer sucks. For the SKS, I'll try to get technical parts and use them if I can, but during the runs, I noticed that the technical parts didn't really change much. It was better than stock because of the movement, but in the field, the damage increase and the recoil is like barely noticeable. I'm only going to consider the SKS. I can't use any other gun other than the SKS. Final mention is that I can use grenades, I just gotta finish them off with the SKS. For the challenge to be complete, I need to kill one Atlin kit. I need to kill at least 3 people that have decent kits like Zish, Tors, not grubs, so like no naked people. Naked people do not count. And I've got to get 1 dozer kill with the SKS. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get to it. The SKS easily falls short of actual good guns, like the AK, SVD, and PKM, which are arguably more easier to get. So basically, if I was pretty much in any firefight, I'd be absolutely sprayed down. The reload speed of the SKS was absolutely horrible as well, taking around 5 to 6 seconds to fully reload the clip or magazine. And obviously, this didn't help while I was in PvP. Another issue was the ranges. Too close, and I'd easily be gunned down by the AK. At medium range, and I'd be easily gunned down by the AK before I could even fire back. At longer ranges, the SKS just didn't do enough damage. It was easy to get 1 headshot, but most of the time, players would just run and jump to the nearest cover, making it even more harder to shoot at them. Speaking of headshots, the recoil on this thing was terrible. I'd take 1 singular shot and the entire scope would shake. You could let the recoil pass before taking another shot, but realistically, by then, the player would probably be in cover. Now while the SKS definitely lacks in PvP, against bots, this thing was a beast. I was easily able to get my first goal of killing Dozer twice. And since the bots didn't move, I was easily able to just slap a scope on and get a kill from afar. Speaking of scopes, for an early game gun, the scope selection is amazing. You can put on the PSO, the PU scope, the OPK sight, and even the hot. After using all the scopes, I found that for mid to long ranges, the PSO was much more easier to use than the PU. Maybe because I use the AK a lot. The only issue with running the PSO on the SKS is that it covers half the screen, making close quarter fights very risky. So for closer quarters, I just took off the scope and used the irons on the SKS, which worked out alright. Now let's properly talk about how I did during firefights with this gun. There were 2 situations where I would get a kill or die trying. The first one was where I saw the enemy, they didn't see me. In this case, I tried to get as close as I could to get a proper kill. But I had to be careful though, because if I got too close, I'd die. And if I was too far, I'd run the risk of missing shots because I can't aim. So I had to get close enough to aim better, but also far enough not to be seen or gunned down once my position was revealed. Now what if I was spotted? Obviously, if I'm spotted out in the field with an SKS, I just die. If I was in cover, I'd quickly try to reposition and return fire. During the runs, I'd noticed that everyone and their mothers were using the better gun, the AK. So I mostly killed grubs, which just didn't help with completing the challenge. But then, I had finally killed someone fully kitted. But did it really count as an Atling kit? I mean, he had the helmet. He just didn't have the armor. And was it really my fault that he didn't put his visor down? For the sake of the challenge, and much to my pain, I decided not to count this as an Atling kill, and continued on with the challenge. As runs went on, my aim seemed to get better and better as I got more and more kills. And eventually, I complete the second criteria for the run, killing my third and final this kid. I was still no match for anyone with an AK, but things seemed to be looking up for me. Soon, I heard gunshots at Lighthouse. Apparently someone had been camping and died there. I moved quickly, running from factory to where I last heard the gunshot. Then finally, I got my one Atling kill in the most ideal conditions. To put the cherry on top, I was even accused of hacking right after, which just instantly made my day. So much that I let the dude that got killed by him take all his loot back and exfil with me. For my tier list, I can also say that I was definitely wrong. This does deserve a higher ranking of A tier, but it's also safe to say I hate this gun.